G'day guys, welcome back to Supercoach with DR and welcome to the Round 21 review. Hope you all had a crack of a weekend. Had a really good one. So on the Saturday, it was, when I say a half decent day, it basically wasn't raining down here. So finally able to mow the lawns, do a bit of work outside. So didn't catch a lot of footy on the Saturday. Then on the Sunday, both boys had a final. One went through, the other one lost, but has a second chance this week. So pretty good results there. And then caught about 3/4 of the Brisbane Saints game because I couldn't leave the boys' game early. End up going up with Maxi, and we actually watched it from level 3 for the first time in a very long time because I really wanted to sort of show him and teach him about all the running patterns. And we picked out particular players that we'd watch for 5 minutes or so, and obviously focused on the blokes that we both own in Supercoach. But yeah, it was a really good experience actually sitting right up there in the stands rather than being in level one, sorry, right there on the ground. So yeah, big win by the boys as well. Premiership favourites now. I don't want to get too far ahead of myself, but we are looking pretty good. But at the same time, we could finish outside the top 4 quite easily. Got a tough opponent coming up this week in the Giants, but I think if we play our best football, then we should get the win up there at the Gabba. But Collingwood after that, and then finishing off with Essendon up at the Gabba as well. So look, hopefully we can finish top 2. That'd be nice. Top 4, I'd be very happy with that as well, particularly if you think about how we started. Just unbelievable. But no more talk about the lines. Let's get into this Supercoach because, oh, look, it's pretty mediocre again. This was looking so good, and you take the projections with a grain of salt, but it was looking like a nice 26.50, so about 100 on top of this, but it doesn't always work out. It really works out with your projected score at times, but 25.49, I think it's probably just a little bit above par there. Actually went up this week. So last 2 weeks saw red arrows. I was really pushing towards that top 250. And then all of a sudden it was like, damn, can I actually just stay in the top 1K and then into 819 this week? So what's that? 85 spots. So I'll take that. But as I said, just feeling a little bit mediocre. When I get into the team, you'll see why I thought the weekend got off to a really red hot start. But at the end of the day, some of the players that I've got, even on a decent day, just can't match it with the best of the best in their positions. So I've got a couple of trades up the sleeve. I think it may be time to send it. I'm not sure. Is it because I've just had a really poorish sort of last 3 weeks? Possibly, but we'll talk about that when we review things. We'll lock in a captain, and if I remember, we may even look at some leagues, but I do want to keep this one pretty short. The potty will go for at least an hour and a half, probably tomorrow night. So I'll do a lot of my talking then when it comes to Supercoach, but we'll quickly go through this side, look at where the holes are at, and see if I'm willing to actually trade this week. So I hope that you're going well. Hope you enjoy. Let's see how the team's actually looking. Alrighty, so here we are. If you look at this, it actually doesn't look too bad, does it? Some really decent scores there, but I'll tell you what, and I'm going to stop complaining about this, but Zach Fisher has just destroyed me. He's absolutely destroyed me because he was meant to be the bloke that sits there at your F4, your F5, and then I'm looping your Simpkin and your Jackson. It just hasn't worked out like that. So that's a real thorn in my side. And why do I think I got off to a good start this weekend? Well, it was because of Elliot Yeo and Bailey Dale. Now, these are basically the 2 biggest pods in my side, and they're competing against your Whitfields, your Houstons, your Sinclairs, and they've just not been giving me what I've been wanting. Look, Yo hasn't been too bad, but Dale has been pretty terrible over the last 4 or 5 weeks. So the fact that he got a 126 was absolutely fantastic. And then coupled with Yo's 119, I thought, beautiful. My pods have actually popped off. Now, Houston didn't get a terrible score at the end of the day, so managed to get some points up on him. But if you got Lockie Whitfield, if you got your Jack Sinclair, if you got your Tom Stewart, still you're beating me here. It's so tough. Even when these 2 go well, other guys go even better than them. But still, yeah, really proud of them for the week. Sheasel with a 105. We didn't know what was going to happen with this Jack Graham thing. So at the end of the day, didn't have him in the loop. Dacos with a 101, been a bit mediocre apart from that really nice captaincy score was a week ago. Yeah, I mentioned Nick Martin with a 104. Now, I haven't watched much footy this week. So watched, well, what were you meant to do on the Friday night? So I ended up watching the BONT. Like, you could not watch the BONT, could you? Particularly when they had the VC on him. It was either him or Flanders, and decided to switch late to BONT and very, very happy with that. I was a little bit worried about the 5-day break, but thought it seems like every time this bloke's under some sort of an injury cloud or something's up with him, he just comes out and gives an absolute monster. So I thought hopefully history repeats, and it absolutely did. But actually, I'm skipping the defenders. I just, love this bloke. Absolutely fantastic this week. But yeah, lots of people saying that Martin was, I think, low at halftime and then did really well, kicked a clutch goal, apparently, towards the end. So 104, happy with that. Ryan, finally, now it's not an absolute monster, but it's not a 90 or a low score like that. It's a nice 126. So fantastic. If we can get 120s from Luke Ryan from here on out, I think this will be a big win. We just take it. Very highly owned. But for those that don't have him, they've had a bit of an advantage on us, depending on who they've got. So good to see him bounce back. Dale, I mentioned with the 126. That was really, really good. And the frustrating thing with Dale last 2 weeks is that the opposition just has not been kicking any behind. So, yeah, if they had have kicked a few more on the board there, then this could have been even higher from Dale. So very happy with that. The BONT is just a monster. I really, really hope that he gets a Brownlow this year. Lockie's had to probably, I'm not going to say stole BONTs. It's not Lockie's fault that he got the Brownlow last year, but I think most of us would agree that BONT was the best player in the comp last year. So I'm really hoping that BONT can take it home if he can. Now, Lockie, to the eye, he actually played a lot better than 103, and maybe this was because I missed a slow start from him and actually watched him junk it up in the last sort of half. So, yeah, 103 is really disappointing. He's the sort of bloke you want on your side, and I don't think he was getting a hard tag to the eye. He's the sort of bloke that you really want to pop off from here. We've only got 3 more weeks to go after this, and I want him to be one of the difference makers in my side. And with the 103, it's not really making a difference, is it? So I want more from Lockie, but no disaster there. That's okay. Butters well on 132. Brilliant. The Schlong back down to average with a 102. Zerrett with a 116. Okay from him. Tommy Green with a 119. And I think this was a much better Supercoach average compared to Dream Team. Now, I can't comment on basically any of these players because I didn't watch them. And I think that's been hurting me a little bit, particularly the last 3 weeks, that I haven't been watching a lot of football. And it seemed like every time I can, the games double up. I had a rant in the Swordplay poddy a week or 2 ago about the scheduling of the AFL. It's just shocking, in my opinion. All these doubled up games. It doubled up Friday night. Come on, chuck it on a Thursday. Do something else. But yeah, it is what it is. Not much I can do or anyone else can do about it. Rosie with the 108. Yes, that's okay. He's only really given me the one failure, which was last week. So everything else has been 100 plus. I'll take that from Rosie, particularly with the price that I paid for him. Walsh, 108, pretty mediocre type stuff. But again, it's no 90 type score, so it's okay. Manor with a 79. Now, most likely I'm just going to be looping him up forward now because there's a bloke up here I'm absolutely spewing with, and we'll get to him in a sec. Actually, this is another bloke I'm spewing with. We'll get to him now. Brodie Grundy. This is a killer. This is an absolute killer. Look at what the Sherrys and the Nanks even did. Look, Sherry, not owning Sherry, it's terrible. It is so bad. And if I had the cash, I would actually just go Grundy to Sherry. Now, Gorn, I can't complain with this week with a nice 130. And kudos to the man. He's getting on in age. Obviously, come back early from that injury, most of us think. So, yeah, well done to Gorn. But Grundy, this bloke has just been super, super disappointing. Like, let's have a quick look at him. Oh, it's been a disaster, really, since bringing him in. It was looking so good. But look at this. Since round 16, 82, 94, 121, 72, 96, 89. So, apart from that 121, has done absolutely nothing. And Sherry, wow, he's just been smashing 140s, 150 type scores out of the park. So, I'm losing so many points there. So that's, another big thorn, Brodie Grundy. Come on, pull your finger out, son. Where are you playing this week? Darcy Cameron. I'd much rather own a Darcy Cameron at this stage. Shout out to him as well. He's been playing some really good football. So surely at the SCG against his old side, this is a massive, massive bounce back game. Could you just completely risk it if you need to go for the clouds this week and get the VC on him early as a real pod? I don't think anyone will go with him. But against the old side, he needs to... Sydney are doing nothing at the moment. Surely they're going to get up against the Pies. Surely they're going to get up and about for this game. and he has to be a big part of it. Do you know what? I've just got a feeling this week. I've got a feeling this week that we're going to get a ceiling score. Maybe just some false hope and some dreams here, but against his old side at the SCG, the Swans, all the pressure's on them. All the eyes in the AFL community are focused right on Sydney at the moment. The pressure's on Horse. They want to get up for their coach. I'm backing Big Brody in this week. I'm backing him in. Gorney, as I said, happy with 130. If you can do that, fantastic. Flanders, the ton run, it is gone, 91. Now, apologies to my man Jake and Com, two wonderful blokes that I work with at school. They said to me as I was leaving, who are you VC? And I said, I'm going Sammy Flanders. And I went with the BONT last second. I thought about things and I thought, no, I'm going with the crowd. It was like 64, 65%. I thought, no, I'm not going to miss out on a big ceiling score. And I was saying to H as well, and this was literally 5 minutes before the start of the game, I said, Bont's that type of bloke that can literally go 70 and a quarter. And I tell you what, there's a potential for us to actually captain Livingston at halftime here. And I had a bit of a laugh about it, but that's what actually occurred. So massive, massive shout out to the big BONT. And it was a little bit of a risk in doing that, but it just allowed me some more flexibility with my SARD loop here. So yeah, kudos to the big BONT there. But Flanders, unfortunately, if you VC'd him and went into your Sheezels or your Sarong types, your Zorkos, your Chockies, just didn't work out well there. Zorko with a 96. Yeah, okay. We've all sort of got him, so it doesn't really matter. Caldwell with a 111, so he's not as highly owned as his Zorko Flanders Heaney, so that's always really handy there. Thank you very much, Jai. Heaney's been super, super underwhelming, so 75. He's not even giving us any more premium scores. Fisher didn't play. I'm not even going to rant about him anymore. Billy Dowling with a 44. It is what it is. But these two blokes here, like Jai Simpkin, he looks so good for a quarter and then just nothing for the other three. It's a frustrating own, but as I said, originally he was meant to be that 23rd type option that I'm looping with Dogger Jackson. Dogger. Now, again, I have absolutely no context, and I just tuned out after I heard this. But he was on at 50 at half time, and the bloke ends on a 48. I thought something's not refreshing here. I don't know what happened. If someone could tell me in the comments, that would be brilliant. Actually, I'll look at it myself. I'll do the work myself, but I have no words here. I've got no words. How can you go? It's a non-injury game. Yeah, I don't even know. I don't even know. But just spewing with Dogger this week. And for those that have the luxury of being able to loop him, fantastic. I'm just going to trade him this way. I'm dead set. Hang on, is he 460? Oh, actually, well, he's less than Fisher now. How much coin did he lose? What is going on there? How much coin did he actually? He's got to break him to 154. So what actually happened here? How much coin? 36K. There goes my plan, I think. Oh, no. Oh, no, I didn't realize how much he'd gone down. I'm not going to be able to get him in, am I? All right, let's just go to the trade that I want to do. I'm going to be that close. I don't know what this bloke ended up scoring. I want to bring in Dylan Moore. 502,800. I reckon he was about 504, was he? With a break even of 95. Now, I haven't been able to bring myself to even look at it. Oh, it's green. 5. Why is it green? Oh, it's because I own all the other blokes. I got so excited. Oh, that's shattering. That's a dagger. That is a dagger. I saw the green next to Dylan Moore and thought I can trade him in. It's grey because I own them. And he scored 94. He went down 300. I literally needed him to go, I think it was 90. I don't know what my team value is, right? This is a game we play, right? You can only laugh about it. I reckon it's 14 something mil, and I'm down 1,500. I'm bringing Dylan Moore in. It's just not meant to be myself and Dylan Moore. The relationship's just it's just not meant to happen. He's not even an ex either. Damn. Now what's his break even? It doesn't even want to show me here. Oh well, this is great. Oh well. Is my internet just completely retrying offline? Oh, it's carnage. Like, I just want Dylan Moore on my side at this stage. It's super, super frustrating because, as I said, having that Simpkin and Dogger combo there, it is an absolute killer. Retrying. All right, I might just try to refresh this here. Page isn't working. Well, that's what Dylan Moore thinks of me. He's gone, bugger you, DR. We're just not working for you, mate. You get nowhere near me. How sad is that? How sad is that? Oh, well, it won't be Dylan Moore. And to be honest, what I was going to do. All right, so, okay, these break evens 106 against Carlton. It's just not happening. It's just not happening for me here, folks, unfortunately. All right, after the internet had a bit of a hissy fit there, we are back. We are back. So, long story short is that I can't even trade Dogger to Dylan Moore anymore. So that's shattering. And a bit of a lesson learned as well moving forward. When you're down to your last couple of trades like I am here, and I suppose what I'll give myself in a way is that I was sure that I'd be using these for 2 injury trades actually by now, most likely. So I can't believe I've lasted with these 2 without having to use them for injuries. But I've only left myself 30K in the bank, and it really doesn't allow me a decent upgrade. But again, I was counting on the fish. So really, I'm a little bit hamstrung. I don't feel comfortable now actually using my last 2 trades to make a really decent upgrade. Maybe would I be comfortable doing it next week and bringing in a pod like Rankin, for example, doing something like that? Because at the moment, you probably even want mana, don't you? But let's just see who I can get for the fish anyway. Let's just see what my options are. So we'll sort by highest price. So I've got just over 500K. I could actually, if I didn't own Heaney, how's that? 501. Benny Keys even. Jesse Hogan playing my boys. $143, 74, 115, 94, 146. Now, I need to look at the DFS matchups here. But Carlton, I was going to say aren't absolute mugs. They're not. They're not. All the Collingwood supporters are going, yes, they are that are tuning in. And the Hawks certainly aren't mugs either. So, Melbourne 94, a 115 here against the Suns. Interestingly enough, 74 was against the Tigers. So I hope he doesn't go big this week, but I'm not key forwards. No, if I'm going to go for a key forward, you might as well just go all the way down to someone like a Kerno who can loop with, and then get that extra cash in the bank. So at least that last trade, if it's not used for an injury, I can hopefully make an upgrade to a better player. Cam Rayner, I would love to bring this bloke in. Consistency has been his issue for his whole career. I've talked about him probably more on X, to be honest, rather than YouTube. But, coming back from the knee, playing the position that he does, predominantly that forward role, is very, very hard to be consistent. But now roaming through the midfield, I know that he's got a little bit more of a license now. I've heard him talk about that and Fags, to move into the stoppages, whenever he feels necessary. So having that license and I suppose that trust does a lot for him, in my opinion. But you look at his last month, 100, 122, 111, and 99. That's really impressive. But it's that consistency, isn't it? Does have 2 out of his last 3 at the Gabba. In saying that, 3 scores here have all been away. So does that even matter? And that Sydney was at the Gabba. That was his highest score with the 122. After his last month, they'll certainly be paying him a lot more respect, but he's a type of bloke that he's almost untackleable. Now, I think he got done once on the weekend, but I'll tell you what, he's so exciting and he's on at the moment, but it's at the moment. These are very risky picks to be buying into. Only 3 weeks. I could. Toby Green with the 101, Daniels. This is the sort of picks we're getting to all of a sudden. McInerney, Papley aren't even available. Then you got your Kerner at 433. So that would give me 70-odd K to play with. Coming up against Hawthorn, where Hogan's just gone that 140. I'm just not comfortable with. I suppose with Simpkin and Dogger at the same time, I've got Manor, who could just as well give me the same score as someone like a Kerner. Although Kerner, it's like you're getting 30s, 40s, or 100 plus at this stage. Jamara, it's been okay with the 108. I could even go someone like a Joey Danaher, really. But am I willing to just waste a trade sort of sideways there? Mackay, 62 on the weekend. Joey almost with a ton. Dempsey with a 72. Jeremy Cameron, what's his run like? Again, I'm looking at key forwards. What am I doing here? But it's to loop. What's he done of late? Yeah, so there you go. Like, you've got a 35 here. I don't know if he was injured or what happened here, but you got a 35, 91, 117, 75, 101, 56, 102. So it really is against opposition. St Kilda West Coast, Freo away. You sort of got to get him this week. No, you don't really have to get him this week. You're paying up more. But he could go that 35, couldn't he? He scored 35 against the Dogs just 3 weeks ago. So, but as a loop option, maybe you could go your Kerno, Cameron, your key forward types. Combin with 107. I think he was playing back again, but he looked, I think, really so. I watched a bit of that match, actually. Kyle Oman. Yeah, all right. So, Tom Powell. I love Maroons, don't I? Break even at 14. Oh, but then, see, the issue is this. I've got Simpkin and Powell, both from North. And I can't loop those two. Some nice bookends, 104, 105, 101, but then 39, 51. I suppose it's a bit of a change in role here, though. I just don't think it's worth wasting a trade on something like that, particularly another North player. Rat Bailey, he's been in okay form. Peatling. James Peatling, 93, 133, 96. $359K. Is this the pod that can send me up the ranks? I'll be barracking against him this week, though. Freo and the Dogs. Not easy. Not easy. $359. So if I did go to James Peatling, it gives me 143 in the bank. That is a mana to a 500K type player, but I'm at that 500K range at the moment. That's if I don't need to use it for an injury. It gets me, or does it? Your Martin up to your Whitfield Sinclairs. I could fully send it, couldn't I? Yeah, look. See what happens if there's an injury this week. Maybe I'll look at the schedule, see who I can loop. But it's certainly an option. Peatling is probably the most realistic option that I'd go with. What I can also do is obviously go for that defender. Again, I just, you could go McKercher. Do I go McKercher? You go your Massimo, and you got 80k in the bank to use. Scott, that role. Roberts, you really had to jump on last week. That was going to be an option for me, but he's just gone up 62k. 85 is okay. I don't think there were many Sydney players that were scoring well. This was originally going to be the plan, but I'm not interested anymore. Max Holmes. If I couldn't get to more, it was going to be Holmes, but to be honest, a 71, 80, 69, it's not worth it. Coming up against Freo. St Kilda West Coast. Look, it could be an option. Maybe. Look, if Fisher doesn't play, Holmes will break even. Well, he'll continue to plummet if he's been scoring like he has been. Maybe it could be a pot option for the last week or two. Make some coin, make another upgrade if I don't need it. For an injury, Lizard. So I'm getting close. Sard. Been a bit up and down, I believe, hasn't he? 46, 130, 118, 46, 133, 109, 72, 93. Oh, do you know the other bloke I was going to look at? I wonder if I can still afford him. McKercher probably makes the most sense. I wonder what his tog was. Yeah, it was a sickening first quarter. Like, I was thinking 140s here on the cards, 120 minimum type stuff, but he must have slowed up for that 103. Himmelberg, probably no. Battle. Duncan's too old. Hinge, no. Newman. Okay, so I can afford Newman up to Houston, so I couldn't go with the pack there. That was definitely in consideration. Rivers, I'm just away from. I don't mind Rivers. All right, so Nick Newman, and I was saying last week, and he's obviously gone up in value, but I was saying that you're going to either get he's a really good loop player to get because it seems like you get a score that you can loop at times here pretty easily with your 64, 57, 84. 90 is a little bit more awkward, but you're probably, with most of these games here, you're happy to roll the dice on any one of the other players that I've got on field here. But if you jag your 156, your 144, even that 104, although that's again quite awkward, then you take that every day of the week, particularly those two big ones. And, with West Coast and St Kilda at end, who knows? Hawthorn this week. So what's he done on them this year? Hawthorn, we don't have data. West Coast and St Kilda. So nothing there on those two either. Okay, so we don't have any data there. The issue is, rather than get a defender here, I suppose I did lose a lot of faith with Dale up until last week. I really, really would love to loop here. But I'm just not able to get quality, am I? So, again, I reckon I'm going to cancel trades. I think I'm just going to cancel them. Again, things could change, and they often do, but yeah, it's probably my thoughts for now anyway. All right, so who are we going to go as captain? So, do you know what? I could go that real pod because I am... Oh, sorry, that's why it's too small. I am tempted to really backing Grundy this week. Oh, sorry, that's an absolute butchering here, sorry. So Grundy could be an option for my VC against Collingwood. Yeah, I've just lost faith in Dacos, I think, at the moment. The Lions against the Giants, so you'd absolutely think Bedford would go to Chocky. Zorko, potentially, but probably no. North against West Coast, the Shees. Yeah, I'll probably pencil him in as a VC for now. You got Freo against the Cats midfield. The Schlong, again, he's just been very underwhelming, hasn't he? But he's at home. I don't think they'll tag. Cats midfield. Could go the Schlong. Sheasel v Schlong. Yeah, it's a toss-up. Essendon Gold Coast. Don't think Gold Coast will tag. So, do you know what? With Zerrett with finals on the line, Marvel, we're probably not going to get, we haven't really been seeing those ceiling type scores from Zerrett, which is the only downfall with him as a VC, but definitely potential there. Wouldn't really like him as captain. Melbourne Port, do you back your Gorn versus your Sweet? Do you back your Butters or your Rosie to get the job done against Melbourne midfield? Potentially. Carlton and Hawthorn, Walsh, no. Not really doing it for me. Caldwell, probably not for a ceiling. Yeah, Handy's early with Sydney, but just no. Richmond and St Kilda, do I even own a player from any of those two sides? Don't think I do. Then you got, do you just fall back on the BONT here at Adelaide Oval? Geez, it's tough in a way, isn't it? Is it Sheasel into BONT? Is it Grundy? Is a real pod into Sheasel? Do you know what? Like, the data doesn't suggest that this will be a good move, does it? If I go Grundy. Sorry, losing my voice. Sorry if you've already tuned out as well. Yeah, look, what am I even thinking here? And he's had 3 at the SCG. 82, 121, and 96. English, Sherry, Shrek. Or was it Dogger if Shrek was out? I'm not too sure. But, it's all about the vibe. It's all about the vibe. The vibe. Sometimes you just don't go with the data and you go with your gut. 71 in round 1. The data suggests it's a terrible move. But is BONT just that safe? He's getting much more of a rest here. So I had the early game. It is an away game. He is travelling, but does have the last game. They obviously need to win for their top 4 aspirations. So, yeah, I'll probably just do that. Although, here's my pod VC for the week. Brodie Grundy. I don't know why. It's the vibe, as I mentioned. So, that is it for now, guys. I'm going to leave it there because the video has gone way over. I was just wanting to put out a 15-minute video, but as usual, that is pretty much impossible for me. As usual, we'll be recording the Swordplay Poddy tomorrow night with a special guest, the other half, the third man up. So you'll probably already know him if you've tuned in to our previous community poddy, not this year's, but last year's, the great Roscoe. So really wrapped and stoked to have the great man on. I'm sure there'll be heaps of questions for the mailbag, and particularly for Roscoe. But isn't that great to get the full complement of the third man up on the poddy? So really looking forward to that. And apart from that, not really sure what else will be going on content-wise this week. As I said, just been super busy, but I'll try to get something else out there. Maybe some league strategy, although did cover that in pretty great depth in the last Swordplay poddy. But there's always different strategy that possibly I haven't heard of. So maybe if you've got some different strategy, leave it down below, and I'll give you a shout out if we decide to go with another video. So that's it for now, guys. All the best and much peace, much love, and I'll see you soon in the next one. Cheers, bye.